The Sussexes' media blitz, a new low in royal drama. Here we go again. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's media machine is back at it, and I'm absolutely livid. The New York Times, a publication that's practically been a mouthpiece for the Sussexes for years, has unleashed a new article that's so biased, it's almost laughable. Meghan's given them exclusive interviews, like the one tied to her Netflix series with Love, and even wrote a deeply personal piece about her miscarriage for them. So it's no surprise they're cozy. But this latest piece, it's a direct attack on King Charles and Prince William, blaming them for the royal family's rift, calling William workshy, and claiming this drama will stain Charles's legacy. It's outrageous, and I'm not holding back. Angela, isn't it just maddening that some media outlets still bend over backward to paint Harry and Meghan as victims, even after years of their divisive antics? I'd love to sit down with the writer and ask, are you married? Do you have kids? Because that changes everything. It's easy to criticize King Charles from a distance, but imagine your own son betraying your trust, leaking private conversations to the press, or publicly trashing your family while you're fighting cancer. How would you cope? Harry says he wants to reconcile, but then he turns around and calls the royals trapped, incompetent, or worse. If the writer were in Charles's shoes, I guarantee they'd be at a loss. The article, written by Mark Landler, the New York Times London bureau chief, is a textbook example of the paper's agenda. The Times has a long history of sneering at Britain, especially since Brexit, so this hit piece isn't exactly shocking, but it's so fundamentally dishonest. To suggest that Charles and William will be judged harshly by history for this rift is absurdly naive. If anything, Harry and Meghan's actions, lying, scheming, and trying to tear down their own family, have spectacularly backfired. Their public approval is in the gutter, while support for the monarchy, Charles, and William remains rock solid. Let's unpack Landler's piece. He writes, King Charles III was immersed last week in commemorating the 80th anniversary of VE Day and preparing for a state visit to Canada to open its parliament. Yet, his duties were overshadowed by his estranged son, Prince Harry, whose public plea for family reconciliation reignited old wounds. 2 years into Charles' reign, his legacy remains mired in this feud. Historians caution that unless he resolves this divide, it could define his time as king, undermining his advocacy for unity and forgiveness. Angela, this is one of the most blatantly one-sided articles I've ever seen from the Times, and that's saying something. Peter Hunt, a former BBC royal correspondent quoted in the piece, argues that Charles's inability to mend ties with Harry contradicts his role as a unifying figurehead. The palace tried to keep the focus on VE Day, but Hunt claims their efforts only prolonged the media's obsession with Harry. It's a private family matter, yet the press spins it as a public failure. What's your take, Angela? Angela, it's utterly infuriating. How long is a father supposed to be held accountable for his grown son's behavior? Harry's over 40, a grown man who needs to own his choices, especially his toxic dynamic with Meghan, who seems to thrive on chaos. Charles shouldn't be the scapegoat here. Yes, Harry had a difficult childhood, but so did William, and he's managed to move forward. William has always had Harry's back, even warning him to take things slow with Meghan to protect him. Harry ignored that advice. And now we're here. The Times narrative is laughably short-sighted. History won't vilify Charles or William. It'll expose Harry and Meghan, just like it did Wallis Simpson and the Duke of Windsor. Their lies and attacks haven't worked, and their popularity is at an all-time low, while the monarchy's support holds strong. The media's role in perpetuating the narrative. The New York Times article isn't just a one-off. It's part of a broader pattern of media outlets bending over backward to defend Harry and Meghan, no matter how indefensible their actions. The Times, in particular, has a track record of framing the Sussexes as misunderstood victims, while casting the rest of the royal family as cold, dysfunctional, or out of touch. This isn't journalism, it's advocacy dressed up as reporting. The paper's disdain for Britain, especially post-Brexit, only amplifies its bias. It's as if they're perpetually looking for ways to dunk on the UK, its institutions, and its people. But let's be clear, the Sussexes aren't innocent bystanders. They've actively courted this kind of coverage, feeding sympathetic outlets like The Times with exclusives and sob stories. Meghan's 2019 interview with The Times, tied to her Netflix series, was a masterclass in curated victimhood. Her op-ed about her miscarriage, while deeply personal, was strategically placed to bolster her image as a compassionate, relatable figure. Harry, meanwhile, has played along, amplifying their narrative through tell-all books, interviews, and Netflix specials. The result? A carefully crafted image that's starting to crack under the weight of its own contradictions. What's so frustrating is how the media ignores the obvious. Harry and Meghan's public support has plummeted, not just in the UK, but globally. Polls consistently show them trailing far behind William, Catherine, and even Charles in popularity. A 2024 YouGov survey found that only 26% of Britons view Meghan favorably, compared to 70% for William and 65% for Catherine. Harry's numbers aren't much better, hovering around 30%. Meanwhile, the monarchy itself enjoys a 60% approval rating, despite the Sussexes' best efforts to undermine it. These numbers tell a story the Times conveniently ignores. The public isn't buying what Harry and Meghan are selling. Historical parallels: the abdication crisis. To put this in perspective, let's draw a parallel to another royal scandal: the 1936 abdication of King Edward VIII, who gave up the throne to marry Wallis Simpson. Like Harry and Meghan, Edward and Wallis were media darlings at first, portrayed as a glamorous modern couple defying a stuffy establishment. But as their story unfolded, public sentiment turned. Their ties to Nazi sympathizers, their lavish lifestyle during wartime austerity, and their perceived betrayal of duty eroded their credibility. By the time they settled into exile, they were largely seen as self-absorbed opportunists. Harry and Meghan are following a similar trajectory. Their initial appeal, a young biracial couple bringing fresh energy to the monarchy, has been overshadowed by their relentless attacks on the institution. Their Netflix series, Harry's memoir Spare, and their Oprah interview painted the royal family as racist, dysfunctional, and cruel. Yet, the public hasn't fully bought it. Why? Because the accusations often lack specifics, and the Sussexes' own behavior, demanding privacy while courting publicity, preaching compassion while trashing family, undermines their credibility. Just as history judged Edward and Wallis harshly, it's likely to do the same for Harry and Meghan. King Charles's dilemma. Let's zoom in on King Charles. At 76, he's navigating a reign that's both eventful and challenging. He's been a vocal advocate for environmental causes, interfaith dialogue, and social cohesion, issues that resonate globally. Yet, the media often reduces his legacy to this family feud. It's unfair, but it's the reality of modern monarchy, where personal drama often overshadows policy or principle. Charles faces an impossible choice: reconcile with Harry and risk legitimizing his son's attacks, or maintain distance and be painted as a cold, unforgiving father. The Times article suggests the former, arguing that Charles's failure to heal the rift undermines his message of unity. But this ignores the practicalities. Harry has shown little willingness to compromise. His public statements, claiming he wants to reconnect while simultaneously criticizing the royals, suggest a lack of sincerity. And Meghan's influence looms large. Her apparent unwillingness to return to the UK, coupled with her history of clashing with royal protocol, makes reconciliation a logistical nightmare. Then there's the issue of trust. Charles and William have every reason to be wary. Harry's memoir and interviews revealed private family conversations, from Charles's alleged comments about Archie's skin color to William's supposed jealousy. Whether these claims are true or exaggerated, they've eroded any chance of candid dialogue. If Charles were to reach out, could he trust Harry not to leak the details to the press? It's a risk most parents would hesitate to take, let alone a monarch under global scrutiny. William's role and reputation. Prince William, too, is caught in the crossfire. The Times claim that he's work-shy is particularly galling. William has taken on an increasingly prominent role since Charles's cancer diagnosis, balancing public duties with supporting his wife, Catherine, through her own cancer treatment. He's patron of over 30 charities, spearheads the Earthshot Prize, and has been a visible presence at state events. To call him lazy is not just inaccurate. It's a deliberate attempt to undermine him. William's relationship with Harry is another sore point. The brothers were once inseparable, bonded by the shared trauma of losing their mother, Diana. William played the protective older sibling, guiding Harry through school, military training, and early royal duties. But Harry's marriage to Meghan changed everything. William's reported caution, urging Harry to slow down and ensure Meghan was the right fit, wasn't jealousy, as some claim, but concern. He saw the potential for disruption, and he was right. Harry's refusal to heed that advice led to a rift that's now seemingly irreparable. The Times narrative that William bears responsibility for the feud is absurd. He's been a target of Harry's attacks, from claims of physical altercations to accusations of being trapped in the royal system. Yet, William has remained stoic, focusing on his family and duties. His popularity alongside Catherine's is a testament to his resilience. The public sees him as a steady hand, a future king who embodies duty without drama. Catherine's comeback. Speaking of Catherine, let's talk about her remarkable return to public life. After her cancer diagnosis and treatment, there were whispers, fueled by royal authors like Robert Jobson, that she might never resume full duties. Yet, she's defied those doubts with grace and purpose. Her new series of nature videos, one per season, is a deeply personal project. Narrated by Catherine herself, the first video, Tide to Spring, is a moving reflection on nature's healing power. Here's an excerpt from her narration. "The past year, nature has been my refuge. Its ability to inspire, nurture, and heal is limitless. Spring brings rebirth, hope, and new beginnings. Just as nature renews, so can we. Let's reconnect with it and embrace a new dawn in our hearts." Angela, this brought tears to my eyes. It's not just beautiful, it's a lifeline for anyone feeling lost or hopeless. Catherine's words resonate because they're rooted in her own experience. Nature, she said, helped her through her cancer recovery, giving her strength to face a life-altering challenge. Her ability to turn that into a public message of hope is what makes her such a compelling figure. Angela, it's truly inspiring. Catherine's chosen something so meaningful to her, and it shows. She's not just talking about nature, she's lived its healing power. That authenticity will make her an incredible queen. She understands people's emotions but won't be pushed around. It's a perfect balance. Meghan's media maneuvers contrast this with Meghan's latest moves. She's hired Sarah Fosmo, a former assistant to Bill Gates, as her chief of staff, an impressive hire on paper. But let's be real, Meghan's track record suggests she doesn't take advice. Her ventures, from Archewell to her lifestyle brand, have floundered, plagued by poor planning and a lack of focus. Fosmo may be talented, but if Meghan refuses to listen, what's the point? Harry, meanwhile, has promoted Leanne Cashin, his former assistant, to chief of staff after failing to replace Josh Kettler, who lasted just 3 months. It's a telling move. Harry seems to be scaling back, letting Meghan drive their business while he takes a back seat. Their recent public appearances, like their overly affectionate display at a Beyoncé concert, reek of desperation to stay relevant. Compare that to William and Catherine's understated, authentic body language in recent photos, and the difference is stark. The priest's plea. Perhaps the most poignant moment in this saga comes from Angela Tilby, a priest who knew Harry during his school years and attended Diana's funeral. In a rare public statement, she urged Harry to stop playing the victim and move forward. She wrote, "You've criticized your father, saying you want to reconnect, but your actions undermine that. It's time to let go of the past and take responsibility." Tilby's words carry weight because she knew Harry before and after Diana's death. Her offer to listen and help is a lifeline, one that Harry might actually consider given his apparent spiritual leanings. Unlike the therapists he's seen, who, frankly, haven't helped, this priest offers a unique perspective, grounded in their shared history. The bigger picture. This drama isn't just about family feuds, it's a microcosm of broader cultural and political divides. The Sussexes' narrative taps into debates about privilege, race, and institutional reform, but their approach, publicly attacking their own family, has alienated many who might otherwise support their causes. The media's role in amplifying their story reflects a deeper issue: the prioritization of clicks and controversy over truth. For the monarchy, this is a test of resilience. Charles and William have navigated Brexit, a global pandemic, and personal health crises while maintaining public support. The Sussexes' departure could have destabilized the institution, but it hasn't. If anything, it's clarified what the monarchy stands for: duty, continuity, and quiet strength. As for Harry and Meghan, their future is uncertain. Their brand relies on grievance, but that's a finite resource. The public's patience is wearing thin, and their ventures lack the substance to sustain long-term relevance. History will likely remember them not as reformers, but as cautionary tales, royals who traded duty for drama and lost.